Well, in our first story, President Akufo-Addo is expected to visit and solidarize with victims of the spillage of the Akosombo Dam today, October 16. Now, some residents in the Volta, Eastern and Greater Accra regions affected by the ongoing spillage continue to count their losses as more spillage water sweeps through their homes. Now, a 46-year-old Kojo Achu recounts how his three-story building almost collapsed on his three children while they were sleeping. Joseph Armstrong has the rest of the story.
Kojo Achu lives on Agopo, an island community in the Adan East district of the Greater Accra region with his wife and children. On Friday night, he recalls how he almost lost his wife and children when a building they were sleeping in collapsed on them due to the pressure of the flood water. On Saturday, he evacuated his family to safety as he returned to safeguard the remaining property. Kojo Achu is now homeless. He now sleeps in an uncompleted structure.
The
flood started at 1 a.m. Luckily, my wife was awake and helped save our children. The building would have collapsed on them.
Kojo is one of over 5,000 landlords and property owners who are now homeless. Many others have lost their businesses to the flood water. Mepe is a town located in the North Thong district of the Volta region. It's also inundated by floods.
All my buildings that I have over there, all the 12 for my deep freezers are all in the water. So I don't know. When I was called from Accra, I came and the water was up to my knee level. When I climbed the story building to come down, it came to my neck. And there was nothing I could do. I couldn't rescue anything.
We came here, we were told that they'll come and give us foodstuffs. Since the thing happened, before you get here, you have to form a queue. And the food that they are sharing, you won't get anything. Some, they will come like, let's say 50 balls of kenke. Before you to get your turn, you won't get anything. So yesterday, I have to take pawpaw from someone to eat. And as I'm talking to you now, nothing.
At Sokpe, in the South Thong district of the Volta region, the situation was similar. The once vibrant farming community has been submerged by the flood water. Farmers are now counting their losses.
So we are now in trouble and we don't know where to go and we have nowhere to stay now. All our properties.
Where we lay our heads is gone because of the spillage. I don't know what is going on now because the way they are opening the dam, I think it's affecting us madly.
Many residents have lost almost everything in just 1 week and are in shock. Graves have been inundated by the flood waters. Critical installations such as hospitals, schools, banks, powerhouses, marketplaces, KVIPs and mortuaries have been submerged. Health experts now fear there could be an outbreak of waterborne diseases. But it appears the spillage is not ending soon. Deputy Chief Executive for Services of the Volta River Authority, Engineer Ken Arthur, says the earliest time the spillage can end is in a week's time. He says the dam is still receiving more water from upstream.
So we'll be lucky to end the heavy spillage, let's say.
The Deputy National Admin Coordinator, Sergi Saji, says more relief items have been secured for distribution to affected communities and residents. He warned, however, that many more communities are going to be affected as the spillage continues. Joseph Armstrong, Go Dalagwe TV3.
Meanwhile, Deputy National NADMO Coordinator Sergi Saji Amedonu says nearly 25,000 residents of the submerged communities have been directly affected. He says more communities are likely to be impacted since the spillage will continue for a few more days.
Actually, gradually getting a full picture of the numbers involved, even though the situation has not completely unfolded yet. As of the last data we had this evening, we are already hitting our 25,000 affected people across 6 districts. But North Thong still remains the most affected, followed now having Shai Osudoku unfolding. Ada just started in terms of moving people to safe haven. So the situation is still unfolding, but we are already hitting close to about 25,000 affected victims already, some of which are in the number of safe havens across this district. But quite a number of them too have moved to stay with their relatives because some communities are completely submerged. So the total number of those people are those we have recorded as affected. So we have a lot of safe havens dotted across all the districts downstream the Volta River. There are some people, their homes are story buildings, they have moved upstairs. And we have been telling them that just by virtue of the buildings sitting in water, we can weaken the structure and the structure can come down. So we find ways of moving those people to the safe haven. Some don't want to move, and now we are doing some compulsory evacuation too as well.
Now, in a significant development, a high-powered government delegation led by the Interministerial Committee is set to tour the areas affected by the Akosombo and Pond Dams spillage in the Lower Volta Basin today. Now, the Interministerial Committee, chaired by the Chief of Staff, Akosua Frema Opare, was formed to assess the situation, identify the most pressing needs, and implement measures to mitigate the impact of the flooding on the affected residents. Now, the Akosombo and Pond Dam spillage has had severe consequences in the region. So far, 6 districts have been heavily impacted, with over 25,000 people displaced. The flooding has resulted in the collapse of several houses as farmlands, health centers, schools, and many social service facilities have been submerged. This visit by the government delegation signifies a crucial step in addressing the challenges faced by the affected communities. We'll continue to provide updates on this developing situation. Now, away from the floods, her rise to the top from a reporter to group CEO of the leading media general has been inspiring. Today, she has been given the flowers and recognition she so deserves, Woman of the Year at the 2023 8th EMY Awards. Now, here's a glowing tribute to a trailblazer and outstanding group CEO of Media General Limited, Beatrice Agyeman.
Mrs. Beatrice Agyeman.
The progress of both the donors and recipients of the first kidney transplant in the country will be monitored over the coming weeks and critical in determining the success of this operation.
Behind the scenes as a journalist, she was tenacious. As managing news editor, she was an inspiration, setting a standard for good journalistic practices. As chief operating officer, she was instrumental in restructuring of the company. As general manager of MGTV, she was innovative. As group CEO, she has carved a path for women in the news industry and beyond. A woman who wears many hats, including a wife, mother, sister, auntie, and a friend. Beatrice Agyeman, recipient of the 2023 8th EMY Awards Woman of the Year category.
It's an honor that goes beyond words. This is a powerful affirmation that the work that I do holds significant public interest and impact.
Throughout her tenure as Group CEO, she has overseen the successful execution of several initiatives that have solidified Media General's position as a leading media conglomerate. With the team members at her heart, it was not surprising that she chose to dedicate her award to the team at Media General.
Although this award bears my name, I would like to dedicate it to my team at Media General. I want to thank my board of directors for believing in my capabilities. I want to thank my hard-working team. I'm on the stage this evening because of you.
The EMY Woman of the Year Award recognizes a woman of excellence and innovation who has inspired many, broken new ground or old barriers, and contributed to her community and her nation. For Beatrice, it's been a journey of growth, learning and resilience, vowing to continue to push boundaries and empower others, and also working tirelessly to make a positive impact in the world. From the team here at Media General, comprising TV3, 3news.com, Onua TV, 3FM, Onua FM, Connect FM, and Akuma FM, MG Digital, 3 Foundation, and APL, at 3 hearty cheers to a trailblazer and a woman of substance, Beatrice Agyemang.
Congratulations, Mom. We love you.
Well, a very big congratulations to Media General CEO Beatrice Agyemang. But on more awards, Media General's Northern Regional Correspondent Christopher Amoako has won 2 awards at the 3rd Northern Region Ghana Journalists Association Awards. Now retained the Best Education Reporter and the Best Reporter in Development Journalism in furthering the SDGs.
The awards 9th brought together journalists working in Northern, Savannah and Northeast regions. 10 journalists who distinguished themselves in line of work received awards in different categories. Media General Correspondent for the Northern, Savannah and Northeast regions, Christopher Amoako, won the Best Education Reporter and the Best Reporter in Development Journalism in furthering the SDGs. Speaking at the event, Northern Region Chairman of GJA, Yakubu Majid, urged journalists in the region to use their platforms to project the region for development. National President of GJA, Albert Kwabena Jumfuo, cautioned political parties to desist from attacking journalists in line of their duty.
We are also concerned and we condemn yesterday's assault on Akosia Ocho, City FM, City TV journalist at the NDC regional office in Greater Accra. An innocent journalist has been attacked by supporters of the largest opposition party less than a week after a media house was stormed by activists affiliated with the governing party. Deep development is abhorrent. This barbaric behavior cannot continue, and we also expect the police to act swiftly.
Northern Regional Minister Alhaji Shani Al-Hassan appealed to the media in the region to live by the tenets of journalism and support government to deliver on its developmental agenda. Mohammed Fugu was adjudged the overall Best Journalist of the Year.
Meanwhile, the host of the New Day morning show, TV3, and head of department at Media General, Bella Mundi, was crowned Female Young Achiever at the 8th EMY Africa Awards.
This year's Young Achiever Female Award goes to Bella Mundi.
Thank you so much for this honor, and I'm dedicating this to all my sisters in the industry, and of course these 2 lovely ladies in Alfred, and all the people who have supported me. My year started in a very interesting way. I had a dream, I had no plan, and I'm sure God was laughing and saying, if only you knew what I had planned for you. And this is one of the very humbling moments. I'm very grateful. Auntie B, CEO, Group CEO of Media General, thank you so much for everything that you've done. You brought out a side of me that I didn't even think I had, and I'm grateful for you. And Nana Macron, AJ Sapon, Alfredo Kante, and everyone else, thank you. Thank you, Emmy. Thank you, God.
Now, away from the awards, tension is expected to fill the atmosphere around the residence of former President John Dramani Mahama's 2 rival groups extend to Marsab at the same house later today. Members of Fix the Country movement, led by Deputy Director of Communications of the NPP, Ernest Owusu Bempah, plan to picket at the office of the former president over what they term inaction from the OSP regarding the Airbus investigations. Meanwhile, an NDC youth wing has given public notice to undertake a cleanup exercise at the office of the former president on the same day as the picketing of the Fixing the Country movement. Now, it had been a speculation in the last few days, but after confirming their intention via a press conference, the Deputy Communications Director of the NPP is expected to show up this morning at the residence of John Mahama. Now, we'll be there to see how events unfold. Now, away from that, although the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is happening primarily in the south, Ghanaians in other cities and towns are still feeling the impact. In this report, we engage a Ghanaian stack in Israel and tell the story of her struggles she is currently facing.
A sense of shock, grief and uncertainty is the situation in Israel since the Palestinian militant group Hamas launched its biggest attack on Israel in many years. Currently, over 1,400 Israelis and over 2,000 Palestinians have been killed in 1 week, not to mention the huge number of Israelis that have been taken hostage, men, women and children inclusive. While some countries are making efforts to evacuate their citizens from Israel, sources at the Foreign Ministry here in Ghana say they have not yet reached a stage that requires evacuation of Ghanaian citizens. We touched base with 33-year-old Abigail Ajay, a Ghanaian who lives in Tel Aviv, several kilometers away from border towns where the strikes are being felt directly. Even so, she says she still feels the impact.
I've encountered like 3 or 4 times before, but it wasn't like this. This is really, really serious. Even during this afternoon, it happened. There was a lot of bombs in Tel Aviv, and then we have to run to the shelter. And if you are in Israel or in Tel Aviv, you're a little bit safe because all the places we have shelter, and there's something that is taking the bombs upwards. So those living in Tel Aviv and then the other suburb are safe. But if you are living afar, it's going to be very difficult and tough, yeah.
Abigail works 2 jobs in both the hospitality industry and the medical field. And while the situation in the Tel Aviv suburb is relatively calmer, she tells me there's a growing shortage of supplies.
As at now, if you go to supermarkets, some of the shops, there are a lot of shortages of some of the items, especially if you want water, rice. I went to the supermarket in my state that I live. There was no water, there was no rice. So you have to move to supermarket by supermarket to check if you would be able to find something to buy.
Abigail is among many other Ghanaians living in Israel. But while the strikes persist, it is left to be seen whether or not Ghanaians are willing to evacuate if the opportunity presents itself. For Abigail, however, it's a no.
Actually, there's no way of coming to Ghana in the moment. I really want to stay here. It's better I stay here and then work and then support whoever I want to support. But for Ghana, no. I heard it's a bit tougher there.
The Foreign Ministry says it remains in constant touch with officials in Israel to ensure the safety of citizens. Until then, the tale of fear continues. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
Now, on the international front, Israeli troops continue to mass near Gaza ahead of an expected ground offensive, but it has given no indication of when it might mount an attack. The Israeli government has raised the death toll of those killed in Hamas attacks to more than 1,400. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza said on Sunday that 2,450 people have been killed in Israel's bombing campaign launched in the aftermath of last week's atrocities. The UN's aid agency has said that Gaza is being pushed into an abyss. Now, the U.S. has sent a second aircraft carrier to the region to deter hostile actions against Israel. Iran has warned of far-reaching consequences if Israel continues attacking. And that's all for the 6 a.m. news here on TV3. My name is Judith Brown. We'll go for a short break and we'll be back with the rest of New Day.